welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess,
I'm Connie.
and today we are back for the next 3 chapters of Breaking Dawn.
That's right. Before we get too deeply into things, just a reminder, you can find us on all of our social medias. They are linked in the description below. We would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and follow. Also, if you would like more Twilight stuff, Jess has kindly created a bunch of playlists for the individual books and movie reactions on our YouTube. I'd recommend checking those out.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. We only have, I was going to say one more movie reaction. We only have 2 more movie reactions for you guys.
Only.
Only. And I know they're kind of set to be back to back, but we might need a week breather because that's a lot of editing for me to do.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Girl, I am so glad that you are the editor.
I have figured things out. Still a learning process.
You have, you know what? We are constantly learning with different setups and updates in our recording software, and it's always just a little bit of a tech support adventure before every recording session.
Yeah. Yeah. Not like we already recorded this episode or something.
I swear, if this ends up being like that cursed Rasputin episode that we recorded, what, 3 times?
At least 3 times. And the video went out for like 2/3 of it, I think.
So, yeah, I'm just saying, if that's the point we get to this, we will do a 5-minute summary of these 3 chapters. Because Rasputin, at least there was something weird and new at every turn. We'd find more research. We're not going to find more things on these 3 chapters of Breaking Dawn besides my annoyance level rising with Stephanie Myers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we will see.
On that note, what?
Oh, I said, so we will see.
So we will see. On that note, are you ready to jump into 34, 35, 36?
Let's rip that band-aid off.
All right. So chapter 34 is Declared. Bella heard Edward playing the piano before she even got out of the car. He hadn't played since Alice left. As Bella shuts the car door and grabs the sleeping Renesmee from the car, the song morphed into Bella's lullaby. They had been gone all day and left Jacob at Charlie's. He told them that he would catch a ride home with Sue. Bella wondered if this was so he could fill his head with enough to drown out her face when she came back. Edward greets her and welcomes her in, not moving from the piano, and asks about her day. She apologizes for being gone so long. She even stepped out to do Christmas shopping for Renesmee. She knows that it's not going to really be an event, though. Edward hadn't thought about Christmas and offers to make it an event for her. Bella tells him no, she just didn't want to let it pass without giving her something. Edward asks to see what she got, and Bella fishes out a velvet jewelry bag without opening the bag wide enough for Edward to see the remaining cash from getting all the documents. Bella tells him that she saw this in an antique store. It was a golden locket with a vine border. Edward opened it, and there was space for a small picture, and there was an inscription in French. It says, "More than my own life." Bella hopes she'll like it, and Edward is sure that she will. He puts his arms around Bella and tells her, let's take her home. Bella hesitates, though. She wants to practice with Emmett. Emmett, quote, looked up and grinned in anticipation. Excellent. The forest needs thinning, end quote.
I love Emmett. I really do.
I love his little comments. He makes it so much better.
I do think the Emmett Bella relationship is probably the healthiest in the entire Twilight universe.
I do really like Bella and Charlie, though.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying healthiest. Because let's think
Healthiest.
back to
Well,
previous books where Charlie, I'm not saying he was a bad parent, but some things could have been handled a little bit better. I say that with actual, like, legit no judgment, even though it's a fictional character, because I'm not a parent myself, and I don't know how I'd handle that situation where my teenage daughter is gone completely insane for a 17-year-old boy who's glittery.
yeah, well, who knows when it comes to teenage girls? And I can say because we used to be teenage girls.
Truly unique monsters teenage girls are,
Mm-hmm.
both in
Yikes.
good ways and bad ways.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of empathy, lots of anger.
Yeah. Edward frowned. There was plenty of time for that tomorrow. Bella starts to complain, and Edward tells her tomorrow and gives a look that not even Emmett argued with. Bella tried to focus on the positives. There was a good chance Renesmee and Jacob would survive. There was a victory in that. Quote, it was not going to be the end of the world, just the end of the Cullens, the end of Edward, the end of me, end quote. Bella preferred it that way. She wouldn't want to live without Edward. She then thought on how Carlisle believed in there being more for them on the other side. Bella couldn't imagine it, but she also couldn't imagine Edward not existing somehow, somewhere. I
Yeah, I
know there
give
was an
more
eye roll
grace.
there, Connie.
There
I can.
was an eye roll there, and I give more grace to Charlie because, yeah, I don't know how you parent that. Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
I yeah. I don't know. I mean, at this point, Bella's married and moved in and gone, so he doesn't really parent her anymore.
True, but I'm thinking like everything that led up to that even being a thought that was in her brain.
Well, Bella likes to be dramatic.
Yes, as teenagers do, and also at the same time, man, this girl could have used some therapy. And by some, I mean a lot.
A
And by a
lot.
lot, I mean all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. On Christmas Day, Edward, Renesmee, Jacob, and Bella went to go see Charlie. Jacob's whole pack was there, as well as Emily and Sue. The wolves were getting excited about the upcoming fight. Renesmee wore the locket Bella gave her at dawn, and she also had Edward's gift, an MP3 player that held 5,000 songs. It was already full of Edward's favorites, which is not how that. I don't think that's how many songs it held, but
No, I don't remember MP3s holding that many songs.
I want to say like 500,
That sounds right.
maybe. Yeah.
I had an MP3 for a little while, but I didn't have too much music on it though.
I just had one of those little shuffles with like no screen on it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think they only held like 50 songs.
And now I have how many thousands in my liked list on Spotify, which granted not local download, but
Right.
music listening has come a long way.
It has. It really has. On her wrist, she wore an intricate braid, a quilliet version of a promise ring. Quote, Edward had gritted his teeth over that one, but it didn't bother me. So soon I would be giving her to Jacob for safekeeping. How could I be bothered by any symbol of the commitment I was so relying on? End quote. Do we go into that or do we just
We
skip?
we did before, and I think it stands the same now. Like, okay, have opinions.
I do have opinion, but yeah,
Granted,
maybe
I
we
have a.
just gloss over.
I was gonna say I have opinions about promise rings, though. Like, I
I
don't.
do too.
Mm-mm. No hate on anybody, but
Not for me.
not for me.
Mm-mm. But we're also the type of people that when we got engaged, it caused us to have anxiety. Not really. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't even think of it that way. I just thought of it more as a. That seems like a cop out. I mean, I'm sure it can be really sweet in many situations, but I've definitely seen and heard of it being used as a like a shutter up ring just
Mm-hmm.
to make things
Yeah.
calm, but then it buys them more time to delay marriage and other things.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. I mean, I've seen it used like that too. Um, yeah. I also do want to say the anxiety with the engagement ring, not for not wanting to marry our partners, because we were very excited about that. It was just
Yes,
the
the
anxiety that comes
anxiety.
with being engaged and
Planning a wedding,
planning a
big or
wedding,
small.
getting asked, when's the wedding every 2 seconds? And
Yep. We
mhm,
have a early episode. I think it's like our second episode where we talk about weddings versus engagements because Jess and her husband eloped.
elopements.
Oh, elopements, yeah, engagements. It's the end of the day, folks. Um, versus my husband and I, we did a bigger wedding, and ultimately, both of us are now a couple years into marriage. Marriage is so much better than being engaged, and while our wedding days were very fun, we're never doing that again.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
No.
Well, I might do mine again, but it was so low key. I could if I really wanted to.
Different experiences.
hmm Yeah,
It was fun.
but yeah. Anywho, so I think we're just gonna kind of gloss over the whole like Quilliot version of a promise ring type thing because that's it's just weird.
Good call.
Yeah. Um. So Edward got Charlie a gift. He got him a new fishing sonar system, which I can just imagine Charlie just being so excited for.
Oh, yeah. I've seen people who really like fishing. When they've gotten those nice fishing presents of those high tech gadgets, they're usually pretty excited.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
You good?
Is he
Did you hear
okay?
him panting coming in?
I do.
I don't know. Anyway,
When it was time to leave, Bella had a hard time concentrating. This could be the last time that she saw Charlie. She wasn't too numb to register it. Charlie may be strong enough for a goodbye, but she wasn't. It was quiet on the drive back. Bella thought about what she would tell Jacob if she could keep them from Edward's head. Bella would soon have to give Jacob the documents. She would also give him a note for Charlie and put a letter to Renesmee. When they pulled up to the Cullens, there was an intense conversation going on. They sat there and discovered Alistar, with an A, is gone. They went inside to see an argument going on in the middle of the room. Amun was hissing at Carlisle and Benjamin. Edward moved quickly to Esme's side and towed Bella behind. Carlisle tells Amun that no one is forcing him to stay. He is free to go. Amun shrieked that he is stealing half of his coven. Is that why he wanted him here? To steal from him? Benjamin rolled his eyes. Yes, Carlisle picked a fight with the Volturi, endangering his family, also that he could lure him here to his death. He tells him he's committed to doing the right thing. He isn't joining any other coven. Amun tells them all this won't end well. Alistar was the only sane one here. They should all run. They'll all be slaughtered. Carlisle tells him if it comes down to a fight, he can switch sides. He is sure the Volturi would appreciate his help. Amun sneers, then tells him he will stay to witness that the child has grown. He turns to Benjamin and tells him he gave him life and he's wasting it. He's so dramatic.
So dramatic. So manipulative.
Yeah. Benjamin's face went cold. Too bad he couldn't replace their will. Perhaps then he would be satisfied. Amun takes off, and Edward tells Bella that he isn't leaving, but will keep his distance. He wasn't bluffing, though, about switching to the Volturi's side. No one actually knows why Alistar left. He didn't leave a note. Everyone assumed that he thinks a fight is inevitable and supposed the danger was too much. Eleazar could hear Edward and told him it sounded like more than that. Alistar was worried that no matter how decisively they could prove their innocence, the Volturi wouldn't listen. He thinks that they will find an excuse to achieve their goals. Only the Romanians were composed and they seemed amused. Many discussions started at once. Bella focused to listen to the Romanians. Stefan hopes Alistar was right about this. No matter the outcome, it will get the word out on who the Volturi have become. Vladimir points out that at least when they ruled, they were honest. Which just makes me chuckle. They have been waiting 1,500 years. There probably won't be a better force to stand with. But if the Volturi win, they will leave with even more power. Think of what just the newborn could give them. She is barely discovering her gifts. He then points out the Earth Mover, and they continue to look around the room to prove this point. Most were listening in on their conversation now. They do have much to gain if they win. Vladimir tells Stefan that this is more than they can afford to have them gain. This means that they have to stand against them while there is still hope. If they can just cripple them or expose them, then someday others will finish the job and their long vendetta will be repaid. It seemed to be the only way. Stefan and Vladimir agreed. They fight. Tia says they will fight too. They believe the Volturi overstepped their authority. Benjamin grins at the Romanians. Quote, apparently, I'm a hot commodity. It appears I have to win the right to be free. End quote. Oh, Benjamin. Garrett tells them it's not the first time he's fought to keep himself from King's rule. Here's to freedom of oppression. Tanya chimes in that they will stand with Carlisle and will fight with him. Peter tells them he and Charlotte haven't decided. Randall and Mary are undecided as well. Jacob says the pack will fight with the Cullens. They aren't afraid of vampires, and smirks. Peter muttered, children. And Randall corrects him, infants. Maggie is in too. She knows the truth is with Carlisle and she can't ignore it. Siobhan started that she doesn't want things to come to a fight.
Hi.
Oh. Hi, Johnny.
Wait, I couldn't hear that. No, that's got the headphones. Right. This one. That's my beat. Okay. He whispers into this ear twice. I'm like, no.
I couldn't hear a thing. I can cut that whole thing out if you want.
I don't mind.
Okay. That was really cute. All of a sudden I see something out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, cute. Johnny appearance.
Hi.
And we told them husbands would never make the podcast.
Right? He made it. For a second.
For a second. Okay, to get back into it. Siobhan started that she doesn't want this to come to a fight. Bella remembered Carlisle told her that he believed she had a subtle but powerful gift that made things go her way. Carlisle tells her he doesn't want a fight either. Maybe she should focus on keeping it peaceful. It couldn't hurt. She tells him then there's no need for her coven to declare itself since there isn't a possibility of a fight. That was it for declarations. They all took turns going to hunt after. Edward, Renesmee, and Bella went to hunt, and Jacob tagged along. Jacob's not too happy. Quote, "Stupid leeches," he muttered to himself when they got outside. "They think they're so superior," he snorted. "They'll be shocked when the infant saves their superior lives, won't they?" Edward said. And Jake smiled and punched his shoulder. "Hell yeah, they will." End quote. This is like a... if this was like a different book, I could see this turning into like a throuple or something.
Edward did kind of propose that a couple chapters back.
He did. He did. Yep.
Nope.
Nope.
Hi, Bear.
There's too many things up here. Ow, your nails. Gosh.
Need nail caps again?
He needs nail caps really bad. I haven't had time to put them on him. While Bella was feeding on an elk, she had a thought that caused her to immediately stop. What if Edward's belief in her, that her shield is really worth something and will protect the others? What if his trust is the reason that they fail? It's faulty and erratic. There's no rhyme or reason. It might not do anything against Alec either. Edward hushes her and assures her that he can't get inside her head. Bella points out that Renesmee does, though. She puts her thoughts right into Bella's head just like everyone else. Her shield has holes. Bella started thinking about the first time she touched her. Or she's been thinking about that since the first time that Renesmee touched her. Edward has two theories. The first is less likely. She is Bella's daughter, genetically half of her, and Edward reminds her of the time that he teased her about her brain being on a different frequency than the rest of them. Maybe Renesmee runs on the same. Bella points out that he can hear her mind just fine. What if Alec also runs on that frequency? Edward thought of this, though. And we have our first book quote.
Of this chapter.
What was that?
Oh, book quote. Yeah, no. We've had quotes, but this is the first one in the book.
Yes, book quote. That will be the... Oh, no. Well, that's going to be obnoxious. I took the tabs out because we already recorded this.
Oh.
So now I have to find... It's fine. I still wrote down like the pages on here. Quote, "Do you remember what Carlisle said to me about her right after she showed you that first memory?" Of course I remembered. He said it's an interesting twist, like she's doing the exact opposite of what you can. Yes, and so I wondered, maybe she took your talent and flipped it too. I considered that. You keep everyone out, he began. And no one keeps her out, I finished hesitantly. That's my theory, he said. And if she can get into your head, I doubt there's a shield on the planet who can keep her at bay. That will help. From what we've seen, no one can doubt the truth of her thoughts once they've allowed her to show them. And I think no one can keep her from showing them if she gets close enough, if Arrow allows her to explain. I shuddered to think of Renesmee so close to Arrow's greedy, milky eyes. Well, he said, rubbing my tight shoulders, at least there's nothing that can stop him from seeing the truth. But is the truth enough to stop him? I murmured. For that, Edward had no answer. End of chapter 34.
All right, first chapter down. Ready
One
to
down.
ready to launch into chapter 35?
Yep, chapter 35, deadline. Bella was headed out for a few last-minute things. Edward tells her to hurry back. She takes off and wondered if it would snow tonight, and if it did, would it be enough to create the scene from Alice's vision? Bella parked and headed inside the restaurant. She gave the name Jenks at the podium, and she was led to a small private room upstairs with a fire crackling. Bella took off her coat to reveal her Alice appropriate attire, which I can only imagine what that is.
Not
I'm
Bella's
imagining,
normal style.
yeah, I'm imagining like a bodycon dress with like a high slit and stilettos.
Yeah, probably like blue, dark blue, either
Yep.
square neckline or plunge. Or a sweetheart, maybe a sweetheart.
My mind goes towards plunged, but maybe it's just because like Alice in the movie is so over the top. Is that the right word that I'm looking for?
Exuberant, out there,
Yeah.
unencumbered.
I mean, like, Bella changed into, when she turned into a vampire, Alice dressed her in stilettos and a super tight dress, which is just ridiculous.
Not a girl's girl.
Not in that moment, no.
Nope. I guarantee you that where the roles reverse, you're coming out of a coma or becoming a vampire, I'm giving you comfy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'll probably just skip a bra because I know you don't want one.
Mm-mm.
Few women
Nope.
do.
Nope.
No. See, that's
No
how you be a
thanks.
girl's girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if a bra is necessary, sports bra.
I was thinking like the really popular ones now, like the airy like t-shirt bras where there's no wiring.
Oh, yeah.
Those are nice. I have
Mm-hmm.
2 of those. One is a little weirder than the other shape-wise, but the other one, very comfortable. Not a lot of support, but comfortable.
They look nice.
No, they're not
No?
they're not the ones you're going to wear if you want to seduce somebody.
Well,
But they're
there's other
comfy.
stuff for that.
Are you good?
Anyways,
Can you
back to
hear
Bella
him?
and a little bit.
He's trying to flip his bed upside down.
Well, yes, because the other side is much more comfy than the side that he's supposed to lay on.
He couldn't get it flipped, so now he pulled the blanket off and he's just pouting on the blanket next to the bed.
Sorry, buddy. Oh,
What a boy.
oh, dogs, keeping things interesting tonight.
Always.
So, back to Bella waiting for Jay to show up.
That's right. J. Jinx.
Jay Jenks. Bella held her fingers close to the fire to warm her hands. It was obvious that Jay was aware something was up with the Cullens, but she figured it would be a good habit to get into. She wondered what it would feel like to be burned. And then Jay entered. He apologized for being late. He shakes her hand and tells her she looks stunning, if he may be so bold, Mrs. Cullen. Bella thanks him and reminds him to call her Bella. Jay hesitantly smiles. It's different working with her than Mr. Jasper, much less unsettling. Bella tells him that's interesting. She's always found Jasper to have a soothing presence. But Jay seems to disagree. What had Jasper done to him? Which I need this little story, by the way. I need this little backstory.
I don't remember if we get it, but I will say, If Jay is dealing in some shady stuff, which it sounds like he is, it's not the worst idea to have him be intimidated instead of thinking he can, get one over on him.
Very true. So Jay has been working with Jasper for over 20 years now, and his old partner knew Jasper for 15 years before that, and he never changes. Bella agrees that he is funny like that. Jay asks for her to sit, but Bella's in a hurry with a long drive home. She hands him a white envelope with his bonus. There is disappointment in his voice as he tucked the envelope into his jacket. He was hoping they could speak for a moment. First, he gave her the cards to ensure that she was satisfied. They both looked perfect for her. They both looked perfect to her.
Okay, I was like, wait.
My bad.
All good.
Bella thanks him and tells her to feel free to come with him for any of the Cullen family needs. Bella asked if there was something more. There was. He was wondering if she was a sister to Mr. Jasper's wife or married her brother. Bella tells him, and he confirms Mr. Edward's bride. Bella says yes. He smiled. He has seen all the names so many times. He wanted to give his congratulations. It's so nice Mr. Edward found such a lovely partner after all this time. Bella thanks him. Jay continues, over the year, he has developed a healthy level of respect for Mr. Jasper and the entire family. Jay is clearly very nervous and having a really hard time saying whatever he wants to say. After a lot of coaxing from Bella, he continues, he would sleep better tonight if Bella could assure him that she isn't planning on kidnapping the little girl from her father. Which that, I am surprised he got the nerve to say that, to be completely honest.
Yeah, but I mean, shows he's got some principle at least. Not a lot, though, because he maybe would have refused to do the work in the first place if he was really concerned, but. Hi there.
But here we are. He's going crazy, and you're messing with the mic. Or not the mic, the headphone. Yeah. How about you just go somewhere else? Yeah, go.
If anyone ever wondered why we decided to name this podcast the Chaos Chronicles, here you go. This is our lives all the time.
So Bella was stunned and assured him it's not like that, just preparing if something would happen to them. He asked if she was expecting something to happen. He then blushes and apologizes. Bella just sighed, you never know. Jay frowns and wishes them the best of luck. He then asks if Mr. Jasper comes and asks what names he put on the documents. Bella tells him to tell Jasper immediately. She would like nothing more than to have Mr. Jasper fully aware of this entire transaction. This seemed to ease his tension. He invited Bella to stay for dinner. When she politely declined, he wishes the best to her health and happiness. Bella returns to only Kate and Garrett in the front room. They were arguing playfully about the nutritional value of human blood, or of animal blood. Not human blood, animal blood. Edward must have taken Renesmee home. The rest of the family is probably hunting. Bella made her way to Alice and Jasper's room and entered. She went through their closet for a specific bag, one that was small enough that Renesmee could carry without it looking to be out of place. Bella then raided their cash, since this would be the least noticeable since everyone avoided this room. Bella put the envelope with the cards into the bag with the money. She then sat to think. Then an idea came to her. If she was to assume that Jacob and Renesmee escaped, the assumption is that Dimitri is also dead. This gave survivors breathing room, including Alice and Jasper. So Alice and Jasper could help Jacob and Renesmee. They could reunite. But how if Alice couldn't see them? Bella thought Alice may not be able to see Jacob or Renesmee, but she could see her. She hoped that Alice wasn't too busy to pay attention to this. She took a piece of paper and pen and wrote Rio de
Janeiro.
Thank you.
I think most people end up calling it just Rio.
Yeah, I know it just as Rio. And clearly I can't say the rest of it, so...
I'm saying it with the American accent. I can't say it with the actual accent. I mean, I can, but it sounds offensive.
Yeah. So this seemed to be the best place for Bella to send them. It's far from here, and they had already been in South America. Bella had an urge to sob. It was what was best, but Bella already missed Renesmee so much. She placed the note in the bag and crossed her fingers. There was nothing left to do but wait. For 2 days, Edward and Carlisle stayed in the clearing that Alice had seen the Volturi arrive at. It was the same place where Victoria's newborns attacked. Edward and Bella didn't have a last grand farewell scene, and Bella didn't plan one. To speak the words made it final. They instead stayed close to each other. Whatever end found them, it wouldn't find them separate. In the early mornings, others gathered in preparation. The wolves were moving in the woods, and Jacob joined them. When Renesmee walks, Bella dressed her. Walks. Dear God.
Wakes?
Yep.
Autocorrect is a thing.
Nope, that was not autocorrect. That was dyslexia, Connie, at its finest.
Your brain autocorrected.
Yep. When Renesmee wakes, Bella dressed her, and over her jacket, Bella placed the black leather backpack with the documents, money, clue, and her love notes for her, Jacob, Charlie, and Renesmee. Her eyes were huge, but she didn't ask what Bella was doing. Bella tells her she loves her more than anything. Renesmee responds that she loves her too. She touched her locket on her neck, which had a picture of the three of them, and she tells Bella that they'll always be together. Bella corrects her, and our hearts will always be together, but when the time comes today, she has to leave. Her eyes widen. Why? Bella can't tell her. She promises that she'll understand soon. Renesmee shows her Jacob's face. Bella nods but tells her to not think it. Don't tell Jacob until she tells her to run. She understands. Bella wanted things to go peacefully. She grabbed Arrow's wedding gift to her and fastened the thick gold rope around her neck, and the giant diamond nestled in the hollow of her throat. Renesmee jumped in Bella's arms and she carried her out. Edward cocked an eyebrow but didn't say anything. He put his arms around them for a long moment. They took their place, and Renesmee climbed onto Bella's back. Bella stood behind the front line of Carlisle, Edward, Emmett, Rosalie, Tanya, Kate, and Eleazar, with an E. Close behind her were Benjamin and Zephrina. It was her job to protect them for as long as she could. They were their best weapons. The wolves were in the woods behind them, ready. The clouds rolled in. They only had minutes or seconds. They all braced themselves. The huge russet alpha wolf came from the forest to Bella's side. It must have been too hard for Jacob to stand back. Renesmee reached out to put her finger in his fur. She relaxed a little. She was calmer with Jacob close. Bella felt better too. As long as Jacob was with Renesmee, she would be all right. Edward reached back to Bella without glancing behind. Bella stretched her arm to grip his hand. He squeezed her fingers. Quote, another minute ticked by, and I found myself straining to hear some sort of approach. And then Edward stiffened and hissed low between his clenched teeth. His eyes focused on the forest due north of where we stood. We stared where he did and waited as the last seconds passed. End of chapter 35.
Dun, dun, dun.
So much tension, so much buildup.
Well, we know how Stephanie handles buildup.
Not well.
Now, see Victoria in Eclipse. The
Mm-hmm.
whole, 8 pages or less that it was for her final takedown?
Something like that. It wasn't even a full chapter. Didn't even get a full chapter. Anything else on chapter 35?
No, let's launch her right into 36, unless you have any other comments.
No, 36, Bloodlust. They came in a formal formation and moved together in perfect sync. The computer. The what?
The computer?
The configuration
Same
folded
thing.
outward. I think my brain just rebooted itself right there.
Valid. I mean, this is the second time recording this.
Yeah, getting through. There's a lot less commentary, but that's okay.
We got this. Woo!
The configuration folded outward. Their movements were slow and deliberate. There was no hurry, no tension or anxiety. There were 32 of them. They were outnumbered. They only had 19 to fight and 7 more to watch. Even counting the wolves, they were outnumbered. Bella then realized even if they killed Dimitri, Jacob wouldn't be able to outrun this. Despair weighed the air. Bella recognizes someone not belonging to either party, Irina. She was horrified as she locked eyes with Tanya. Tanya whispered Alistar was right. Alistar with an A. They came to destroy and acquire. Edward tells them they can see Renesmee now, so they are fine with their course. They could attempt to defend against their other charges, but they would have to stop to hear the truth about her, which they have no intentions. Jacob huffed. Everything did halt when the wolves joined. Bella took a second and realized that there were more than 10 wolves. There were 16, 17 counting Jacob. She had never seen some. With so many vampires, she should have seen that coming. But they would still lose. Bella was suddenly furious, beyond furious. Her hopelessness was entirely gone. The reddish glow was back, and she wanted to sink her teeth into the figures in front of her. A low snarl came out of her, and she realized her mouth was turned up to a smile. Zephrina and Senna echoed her hushed growl, and Edward squeezed Bella's hand that he was still holding to caution her. Arrow and Caius were at the center and paused to evaluate. Bella searched for her targets. Alec and Jane were easily the smallest members of the guard and stood next to Marcus, and Dimitri was on the other side. Bella could see the disappointment in Arrow's face when he looked over their faces again and again, looking for one missing. Bella was grateful that Alice had run. The pause continued, and Carlyle anxiously asked Edward what was going on. He tells them that they aren't sure how to proceed. They're weighing their options, choosing targets. Marcus is reading the strengths and looking for weak points. The Romanians' presence irritates them. They're worried about the faces that they don't recognize, Zephrina and Senna particularly, and then the wolves. They've never been outnumbered before. That's what has stopped them. They don't count their witnesses. Arrow just enjoys an audience. Carlyle asks if he should speak. Edward hesitates but tells him this is the only chance he'll get. Carlyle took several steps, and Bella hated to see him unprotected. And this very moment is when I thought Carlyle was about to just get knocked out forever. Because Connie over here is like, someone does die. Someone dies. And this whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, who dies? Oh, it's about to be Carlyle. It's like, of all people, don't kill off Carlyle. Okay. Carlyle spread his arms in greeting. Quote, Arrow, my old friend, it's been centuries. End quote. There was only silence. Eventually, Arrow stepped forward and Renata moved with him. A few of their guards leaned in to crouch, and Arrow tells them peace. Arrow tells Carlisle his words seem out of place considering the army he has assembled to kill him and his dear ones. Carlisle shakes his head and stretches his right hand forward. He only needs to touch his hand to know it was never his intent. Arrow narrows his eyes. His intent can't matter in light of what he did. Carlisle tells him that he has not committed the crime he is here to punish him for. Arrow tells him nothing would please him more than to preserve his life today. So step aside and let him punish who is responsible. Carlisle offers his hand again. No one has broken the law. She is not immortal. She is not a vampire. Everyone is here as witnesses, just as they have brought. Anyone here can tell the truth about the child, or they can just look at her. She has the flush of human blood in her cheeks. Chaos snaps. It's a trick. Then calls Irina forward. Irina stares. No! I had it right the first time.
You're gonna get it. And I was like, oh, Caius.
I was doing so good. The whole episode that won't air, I got every single one right.
You did. That's why I was like, I'm gonna give her a beat. Dang it. Girl, the names
Let's see
hard.
if I can make it the rest.
You got it.
I don't know why his name is just so hard for me.
Honestly, when reading it, I said Caius too, and it wasn't until I saw the movie. They're like, oh, Caius. And I was like, Caius?
Dang. Okay. Caius snaps. It's a trick.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Like, I did say it right? Then calls Irina forward. Irina stares, and one of the bodyguards moved Irina to Caius. Caius slapped her in the face, points at Renesmee, and asks if this is the child she saw. The one obviously more than human. Irina is perplexed. She isn't sure. She's not the same, but believes she is the same child. This child is bigger than the one that she saw, though. Arrow flitted to Kai's side, trying to calm him. There's no need to be hasty. They have time. Arrow asks her to show her what she means. He takes her hand and points out that they have a mystery on their hands. It does appear that the child has grown, but Irina's first memory was so clear of an immortal child. Carlisle tells him that is what he's trying to explain. He offers his hand again, but Arrow would rather have the story from someone more central to the breach. Carlisle tells him that there was no breach. Arrow acknowledges and says that he will need to get evidence from his son. He is assuming Edward is involved. It was obvious he wanted Edward because Edward could see everyone's mind aside from Bella. Edward turned to kiss Bella's forehead and Renesmee's. He didn't meet her eyes. He walked past Carlisle, and there were low whispers from Esme behind her. Bella couldn't bear to watch Edward cross that alone, but she couldn't bring Renesmee closer. Jane smiled as Edward crossed the line. It was that smug smile. Bella's fury peaked, higher than ever. Her shield blew out and mushroomed. It pulsed like it was living, and she could feel it. There was no recoil now. It was a raw force. Bella had been holding herself back, but now she set it free, and her shield exploded 50 yards effortlessly. It only took a fraction of her concentration. She could feel everything, and she was so relieved when she felt Edward there under her protection. Edward stopped a few steps from Arrow, and Bella realized that she shouldn't prevent this exchange from happening. This was the point to get Arrow to hear them. She pulled the shield back, but was ready to shield him instantly if something went wrong. Edward held his hand out to Arrow. Arrow took his hand with a smile. While Arrow was concentrating on Edward's memories, Jane edged forward, and Renata's face was distressed. Bella decided to examine her shield. She could tell that she wasn't a warrior, and if it was between her and Bella, Bella would obliterate her. Arrow straightened. He opened his eyes and didn't realize Edward's.
Didn't
Sorry.
release Edward's hand?
Yep. Yep, that's exactly what that says.
Yes. Also, I do just need to put it in here. I hate that Aro is seeing every thought, including the making of Renesmee.
Yes, I do agree with that, but it also solidifies the whole story. But I do agree that I don't like it.
Oh, I don't like it. If I was Bella, I'd be like, all right, well, now we have to wipe out everybody, mainly Aro.
Everybody has to go now.
Everyone has to go now.
Bye bye.
Goodbye. That was unfortunate, but play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Nice seeing you guys. Bye bye. So Arrow straightened. He opened his eyes and didn't release Edward's hand. Arrow sees, he is amazed and almost sounds amused. Edward has given him much to ponder, much more than he expected. Arrow asks and almost pleads to meet her. He never dreamed the existence of something like this in all of his centuries. This is such an addition to the histories. Caius snaps and asks, "What is this about?" Arrow answers, "Something he has never dreamt of." Take a moment to think, because the justice they intend to deliver no longer applies. Caius hisses in surprise, and Arrow tells him peace. Arrow asks to meet Renesmee. They compromise to meet in the middle. Arrow takes 2 guards, and Bella brings Emmett and Jacob. Emmett because he would be dying to go, and Jacob because he wouldn't be able to bear being left. Felix greets Bella. Immortality suits her. Too bad. And then trails off. Arrow is fascinated with Renesmee, but agrees that it's like Bella was designed for this life. He notices the necklace she's wearing, and Bella thanks him for the gift. Arrow laughed. He thought it might complement her new face, and he was right. He asks Bella, "Buddy."
He's like, but Mom.
So obnoxious. Just choose somewhere to be. He asks Bella if he can meet her daughter. Bella takes the shield away from Renesmee, and Arrow greets her. Arrow tells Caius she is half immortal, half immortal, half mortal, half immortal, conceived and carried by this newborn while she was still human. Caius scoffed. Impossible. Arrow cautioned him. He knows he loves his justice, but there is nothing against her for her parentage. There is so much to learn. He held his hand to Renesmee, but she touched his face instead. Arrow didn't react shocked. His smile widened. When finished, she asked him, "Please." Arrow smiled. Quote, "Of course I have no desire to harm your loved one's precious Renesmee." End quote. Arrow was suddenly intrigued by the wolves. Surely Renesmee showed him something. Edward tells Arrow it would never work. The wolves don't belong to them. They're here because they want to be, and they get along because they're committed to protecting human life. That means that they couldn't ever live with them unless they rethought their lifestyle. Arrow laughed. It was just an errant thought. Jacob winced, and Edward tells him he is intrigued by the thought of guard dogs. There was a roar of snarls from the entire pack, as I'm sure we can all imagine.
That would be my reaction, yeah.
Yeah, like, definitely not, dude. Then there was a sharp bark of command, and Bella guessed that that was Sam. Arrow laughed again. That answers that. This lot picked its side. Edward hissed, and Bella wondered what made Edward react so violently. Arrow waved Felix and Dimitri off again when they crouched in response to Edward. Quote, "So much to discuss," Arrow said, his tone suddenly that of an I did this last time too. Why can't I remember how to say
Inundated?
that? Yes, it looks so weird though.
It does. I had to not think about it.
Inundated. Yeah. Quote, "So much to discuss," Arrow said, his tone suddenly that of an
Inundated?
No! Inundated.
Do you want a constitutional congress it?
Yeah, I think so.
Got it.
Yeah, because my brain can't do this, I guess. Quote, "So much to discuss," Arrow said, his tone suddenly that of an
Inundated?
businessman. Thank you, Connie. "So much to decide, and if you and your furry protector will excuse me, my dear Cullens, I must confer with my brothers." End quote. End of chapter 36.
Dun dun dun.
I had a thought just now, and this is a new thought. I know because we've already talked about these chapters, but Caius is so obsessed with this vengeance. We've already decided that we're going to end them, so we're going to do this. Why did he not go berserk? Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Searching through
Like,
my Rolodex.
is Arrow just like more important or more high up, have more authority than he does?
I think. I mean, they're presented as one unit, but within the unit, there is a hierarchy, and I do think that Arrow's a little bit higher. I don't remember if they're actual brothers. I don't think they are. I think it's kind of like Irina and her sisters.
Okay, yeah.
But I thought Arrow was just kind of like Carlisle, like naturally kind of their leader.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember because I know I had that same question and I don't fully remember it being explained. I don't think it was fully explained in the books.
I don't think so, because I feel like I would have remembered that.
I do think
Because if you
Caius
guys
is.
don't know, I've already finished the book.
I think Caius is supposed to be the youngest, though, of the three.
Okay. So maybe it's like a seniority type deal. Like, I've been a vampire longer than you've been a vampire, so you listen to me.
I
If you guys know, if one of you knows, please leave it in the comments. Or we also have our email down below. You guys can shoot us an email if you don't feel like leaving a comment.
Yes. We always appreciate emails, even if it's just to say hello. We like those. We've
Mm-hmm.
gotten those. We really like them.
They're so nice. They're really sweet.
They are. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those who are listening, I just did, I think, the nicest hand heart I've ever done in my life. And yeah, I can't do it again. Okay. That was a one-time deal. See, that's pretty good.
Have you seen like the new one? It's like this or something. Like,
Yeah. Hold up. We're not throwing gang signs. Is it this?
it's a heart.
Is it
Yeah.
this?
I can't make it pretty. Sure. Oh
Like
yeah,
bread.
and there's this too. Like, I does this show our age? I think it does.
I think it does. Also, why doesn't my pinky want to wait? It's my other pinky. Go up, up. Trying to do anything in these cameras while looking at the screen because it's flipped and it's just. It's been over a year of this and we still struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, things are getting exciting. So much potential here, Connie. There's so much potential here.
Potential, yes.
Stephanie is really good at writing potential and really good at the lead up. And I'm leaving it at that. Because we will talk about this more next week for the final 3 chapters.
That's right. So we highly recommend that you hit that notification bell so you can be notified when that next episode comes out. But until then, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you either for our Who Knows What Wednesday episodes or our
Chapter and Chill Saturdays.
Thank you. Every time I go to Cereal Saturdays. Why?
That's okay. I still am a 50-50 with Chaos or Caius, so
This is also part of the chaos. We balance out what one person has an issue with, the other person can step in. It's a good balance.
Works very well.
Yes. But thank you. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.